Welcome to the AfterMat, your source for WWE pay-per-view recaps. I'm your host, the People's Champ Cal, and alongside me, as always, I have my tag team partner, the Glamazon Delisha.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's going on, Delisha? So we had I guess this was our first SmackDown pay-per-view since SummerSlam, right?
I believe
Uh,
so.
and it was quite interesting. I kind of enjoyed it. I had a lot more expectations for it from the card, but we'll get into how we rated it in each match. But what's your overall thought of it before we get into it?
It was fine. I mean, nothing like that blew. I mean, there was only maybe a few matches that I was like really into, and the rest was just like it happened. So it was fine. That's it. Not horrible, but not like, oh man, that was a great interview.
So I don't know if you saw the pre. I know you always text me and say, "Oh, I didn't see the pre-show," but I think you did see the pre-show this time around, right?
I saw half of it, and then I had to go walk my dog because she was begging to be walked.
Oh yeah, I think you did say you saw the beginning, and then you were asking me how did it end. So the opening pre-show match was the Hype Brothers versus Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, basically like the new Team Angle, I guess you can call it. Which is kind of weird, right? Because isn't Angle didn't make this team up, right? It was Daniel Bryan who made it up.
Like sure. I mean, kayfabe, yeah, but
Yeah. Um. So yeah, the Hype Brothers, Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder. Before the match, you kind of saw some like dissension amongst the ranks between them. So we knew that was going to play a factor. The Hype Brothers looked good in the beginning. They're dominating the match, but Zack Ryder's kind of like good natured, was like, oh, let's shake hands. Oh, good for you on that move. Stuff like that. He was being very respectful and like a good sportsman, but like that also cost them because he was taking up time and doing all that. That allowed Benjamin to get tagged in because Gable's being isolated earlier. Benjamin cleaned house. And this time, Ryder was the victim of the isolation attack. And these guys just used their technical skill and just out wrestled Ryder. They threw Rawley out of the ring eventually and performed a double team move. I forgot what it was exactly. It was like I think like Benjamin like threw him into the turnbuckle or something, which bounced off and hit, got into the grasp of Gable, who did a suplex or something. I can't even remember what it was, but they got the win, and that kind of like showed that Ryder cost them the match. So now they're going to have to feud because I guess Rawley's going to turn heel, possibly. I don't know, but
I mean, because at this moment, there's really nothing for them to do.
Yeah, and it's not even that exciting. Do you have anything to say about that match?
Yeah.
I could care less. Yeah.
Yeah, I could care less either. It was fine. The half of I saw was fine. You know, like I said, almost said Gable and Jordan. Shelton Benjamin and Gable. They're both technically sound wrestlers, and then the other two are there. So it's all right.
And that team of Gable and Jordan that you mentioned was the American Alphas, right?
Yeah.
So they should have, and they were a solid tag team, right? Because I never really saw the American Alpha.
They were they were basically what Benjamin and
Charlie Haas were.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why people wanted them to be moved to Raw to like hopefully be managed by Angle or some sort of something with that, because it would have been pretty cool to see. But they went with a different storyline that pretty much sucks. So yeah, on both ends.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, like the tag team division is really flourishing with all these great tag teams. I feel like they should have gave American Alphas more of a chance and stay as a tag team and then see what had happened there. But that's pretty much it for the pre-show. The pay-per-view, of course, we're talking about is Hell in a Cell 2017, the first ever SmackDown brand pay-per-view since SummerSlam. This year, I should say. And there are two Hell in a Cell matches in the card, and they bookend the pay-per-view, right? So it started out with the Hell in a Cell match and ended the pay-per-view, which we pretty much figured it was going to be like. The only other way you could do it is if you had two of the matches back-to-back, but they don't want to kind of do that. You know, we always got that buffer match that we say. So the match started out with the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the New Day versus the Usos for the tag team titles inside Hell in a Cell. New Day was represented by Xavier Woods and Big E Langston.
It's always Big E.
It's always Big.
He's the one who's always gonna be there.
Yeah, I know. And you know, I was telling you earlier, like before this match started, I'm like, really? It's gonna be they're gonna leave Kofi out with all the athletic stuff he does. You're not gonna put him in a Hell in a Cell?
I think it was because of that. Like I was saying, I like when we were texting that, I think it was Xavier's time to shine because he was coming off an ankle injury, I think, which is why we hadn't seen him in the ring on regular programming. But Kofi always gets the spots, at the Royal Rumble and then Money in the Bank. He's had those moments, so I guess it was time for Xavier to get those moments, and that's we'll talk about in a bit. He had some brutal moments in that match.
I mean, but you could have had Kofi and Xavier.
That is true, but then Then we wouldn't have Biggie dancing in the ring.
I guess. I mean, or because I have to be honest, I did fall asleep during some of the match, like in the middle of it, I guess. So maybe Kofi had a big spot. I don't even know because I didn't see the middle of the match. But yeah, it started out with like, I think the Usos, no, Biggie landed a massive spear, and then Xavier used his trombones on the Usos, and they got a cowbell out, and then they did like Biggie did a little shuffle dance that he always does.
If he's not in the match, you don't get that dance.
I mean, he could have done on the outside too, and just did it on the outside. Just this thing. The Usos were able to turn the tables and start working a double team on Big E, and then they actually ended up handcuffing him to the cell. Then they caused a constant double team attack on Xavier Woods using kendo sticks and stuff. Big E used his superhuman strength to break out of the handcuffs, to free himself of the bonds. But then he was met with a double Oos, which I guess that double splash, right? The corner to the corner splash, that's a double Oos. Yep. Xavier broke up that pin. And then they threw Big E outside, and then Xavier found himself on the receiving end of the double Oos, and then that was the pin. And then now you have the new tag team champions, the Usos. There was a cool spot where one of the Usos, I can't remember who it was, but it was like put into the corner with a kendo sticks, like kind of trapped in his own little cell. Other than that, I don't really remember. I know there were some big spots. Like I saw that, and like everyone was going crazy. But like it's only because I woke up from seeing it and seeing the reaction, not like what happened. So I guess you didn't. Oh, yeah, so the winners of the match and your new tag team champions are the Usos. So you can probably fill us in on what the big spots that I missed.
Yeah. Also, the big another underlying factor was both of these teams, whoever won, they would become 5-time tag team champions. So for either team, so that was a big accomplishment for them.
Wait, aren't the New Day still the champions? So how would they become 5-time?
No, Usos are champions.
No, you said whoever won would be the 5-time champion or whatever you said.
I mean, you know what I meant. Sorry.
Oh, so you mean like the Usos became the 5-time champions?
Yes, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, it's been a long day, and it's Monday. But probably one of the highlights was when I forget. I think Big E was either knocked out or he was isolated somehow. But they put Xavier into the corner. Sorry. No, actually, earlier in the match, Xavier was in the corner, and then one of the Usos stuck a kendo stick underneath his chin, while the other one did that. I don't know what you call it, but when they usually stick someone in the corner of the ring, and they like run after them and like hit them with like their thigh or something like that. But he did that with the kendo stick up to his chin in the corner of the cell.
Oh, like a flying knee or something? Kind of like a knee strike?
Yeah, but it was like their thigh or their butt. Sorry, my tablet almost fell. But anyway, as like a callback to that, later on in the match, they isolated one of the Usos and they kind of like imprisoned him with like 3 kendo sticks. While what did they do? Oh, he wasn't.
They started beating on him. That's it. Like I was waiting for that part where they trapped him in the corner and they hit him.
Yeah, but it was a callback to what the Usos did to Xavier earlier in the match. Actually, and then that time when they handcuffed Xavier and like hung him from the turnbuckle, and then they started beating with the kendo stick. I was like, all through the match, I was saying like, this is what a Hell in a Cell match is supposed to be, that brutal intensity. And because they did such a great job with those video packages over the last few weeks of building up these two teams, building up this match, I felt invested more than some of the other matches that we had on the card.
So I mean, I could see how it was like I think both Hell in a Cell matches really delivered from what I saw for the first match. I really enjoyed the last match, pending the ending and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a good match. I think that was one of the better matches of the night. The next match was the Rusev versus Randy Orton. I didn't even know this was the third time they fought. I remember the other time they fought was when Randy Orton hit it was SummerSlam, I guess, when Randy Orton hit the RKO out of nowhere right in the beginning of the match to win it, which I predicted was going to happen. This I didn't even know was a rubber match, but Randy Orton went for another quick RKO victory. But Rusev used his brute strength to dominate. He did several huge strikes and slams and stuff. And there was that actually cool spot where I think Orton was coiling up to do the RKO, and Rusev like did like a backflip and landed into the accolade kind of thing. That was kind of cool. Yeah. But like Orton reversed it into an RKO, which Rusev countered it also. But then eventually, you know, when the heel is too cocky, it's gonna get the best of him, and that allowed Orton to get out of the accolade and hit an RKO out of nowhere and pick up the victory. And I know right when this happened, so Randy Orton won. And we were saying, like, man, Orton doesn't need this. Like, why are we still burying Rusev when he could be like a mid-carder with the U.S. title or pushing up? I can understand that we have a heel champion, but we don't know what's going to happen at the end of the night at this point, right? Mm-hmm. And do you really want to see Orton versus Jinder Mahal again for like the 17th time? Like, come on now. You know, like, let's see like Rusev get some push or something. You know, we didn't know who's going to win the final match at this point. This would have added more to it. That's what I don't know. How did you feel about this match?
Yeah, I just felt even story-wise, Rusev needed this win more than Orton did. And I wasn't really keen on this match in the first place because you know my feelings on Orton. I just right at this moment in time, I do not care about that dude whatsoever. He makes me the way he performs the ring feel like he doesn't care, so I don't care. So I was rooting for Rusev. And the silver lining with this match is that at least Rusev still looked somewhat strong. Mm-hmm. They let him wrestle for more than 2 minutes. But Rusev looked good. It's just that I really wish he was in a better storyline.
Yeah, man. I don't know what's gonna happen now with Orton. He's probably gonna get another title shot eventually, which I hate that. But I don't know what the next SmackDown pay-per-view is gonna be.
Survivor Series.
Survivor Series. Oh, that's combined. Yeah, okay. So then it might be a Survivor Series match with Team Orton versus Team Rusev or something. Like, who knows? But if you don't know who that is, that's our fact checker Joe in the background, always fact checking for us. So I'm sure we'll get his take on what his thought of the entire night later, or any other matches that he wants to chime in on as well. Any last thoughts on this, Randy? I know because I know you don't care much about Orton, so I want to know.
Yeah, no. Again, it was a fine match, but I just didn't care about the surrounding storyline for them.
Right. And I didn't even know it was a third match. I really thought they were just doing a rematch for some odd reason. I guess what happened on SmackDown, you know, I really watch SmackDown, so I guess the other match happened on SmackDown.
It's funny because I do watch SmackDown, and I totally don't even remember what the second match was about.
It was right after, I think, Randy Orton had defeated Aiden English, and then Rusev came out and challenged him to a match, and Rusev disposed of Orton in like 9 seconds.
Oh, nice.
Okay. So, but like you can't even count that as a legit match because Randy Orton just wrestled prior to that. So they're never gonna let Randy Orton look bad, which is so stupid.
Because he's Randy Orton. He's third generation superstar, and he's a 13-time world champion.
It's stupid. He should be 17-time or 18-time champion for however many times he's fought for that title against Jinder Mahal. Thank God Jinder Mahal is a great champion that he is, and he doesn't need any help ever whatsoever. He wins it cleanly all the time. So. So the next match was United States Champion AJ Styles versus Baron Corbin. But in the pre-show or whatever it was, Ty Dillinger stuck his way into the match, the Perfect 10 Ty Dillinger. So now I made a triple threat match for the U.S. Championship. And you kind of saw that maybe AJ will lose it, but he won't lose it himself because that's why Ty Dillinger's in the match. It'll make Corbin come back and look strong and not have AJ look weak. And that's what we had. We had a good match where it was a alliance kind of built on mutual respect between Ty and AJ. They worked over Corbin. Corbin came back and gained the upper hand, and he launched Ty into Styles, which caused them to go back at it now. Corbin, I think, threw Styles out of the match for a little while, and he started dominating Ty Dillinger. AJ came back and placed Ty in a calf crusher, which was broken up by Corbin, who pulled Ty Dillinger out of the ring. AJ then hit the phenomenal forearm on Ty. A few other things happened with a Styles clash that almost happened but didn't happen and stuff like that. But eventually AJ hit a phenomenal forearm on Ty, but then Baron Corbin booted Ty out of the ring and picked up the pin. Booted AJ out of the ring and pinned Ty. So now he's the new U.S. champion. There was a cool part with a deep six, like a really big deep six that happened during the match as well. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, now like we were talking about how Baron Corbin's in the doghouse before, and he lost his, they were telling me how he had to take off his shirt every week just to embarrass him, and he lost his what do you call it thing, the money in the briefcase thing also. But now he's the U.S. champ, and he's gonna have a feud against AJ Styles, I'm assuming, because AJ's gonna get his rematch clause and all that. I don't know. What do you think about this? I mean, I think we did agree that we want to see Corbin come up the ranks, and I did say I didn't want to see him win the Money in the Bank because I thought that was too fast. So I guess it kind of worked it out, but they did it in a bad way because it was only because he was in the doghouse and he lost that Money in the Bank kind of thing. This is the way I think he should have went, because I think AJ can now go up to fight for the championship, in my opinion. But he's probably gonna get that rematch, obviously. So what do you think?
Yeah, pretty much along the same lines. Again, it was an all right match. I was actually kind of shocked that Corbin got it. Like shocked but not shocked, kind of, if that makes sense. And now I'm just curious. I'm like, oh well, I wonder what they're gonna do with him this time. I mean, I'm still like on the fence right now, just because like he hasn't really been what he could be, so to speak. And I also hate his new theme music, so I never get excited to see him. So
I kind of enjoyed his new theme music. I don't remember I didn't even know it was new, first of all, because I never hear his theme music anyway. But I thought it was pretty cool. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. The other one seemed to suit him a little bit more. But then again, if that was his thing to change it, then whatever. But yeah, we'll see where this goes and how they write him now, and hopefully he doesn't lose this next week. So relax.
Well, we know that AJ is gonna get a rematch, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can he beat AJ cleanly? I don't know.
I don't know.
I feel like, well, AJ said on the Talking Smack afterwards that he was going to invoke his rematch clause this Tuesday on SmackDown Live.
Oh, breaking news here, folks.
So I'm thinking that I'm thinking AJ's probably going to win by a count out or disqualification. Thus, Baron holds on to the title and keeps the feud going.
Oh, sure.
Man, yes, I mean, I don't mind seeing AJ fight Shinsuke for number one contendership, and then win it and go on to face Jinder Mahal. But Jinder Mahal should still win eventually until WrestleMania, like I said, which is not going to happen. Probably lose at Royal Rumble to AJ Styles, and then that'll set up the Shinsuke versus AJ at WrestleMania. That's what I'm saying. You heard it here. Yeah, but it was a pretty good match. I enjoyed it. I always think AJ matches are great. This one wasn't phenomenal, but it was still good. I don't know. Any last thoughts on that match, or how you feel anything's gonna go, or do you see it the same way?
Yeah, I'm not like you. I'm not really good at predicting these things. But I don't know. Like I said, as long as Baron doesn't lose it like this Tuesday, I'm still going to see what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, I did. I always do enjoy watching Orton. Oh my god, now I'm flipping out. I do enjoy watching AJ Styles matches. It's gonna be cool to see if like what I said happens. Like what Joe is saying is probably gonna happen Tuesday. He's gonna invoke it, and then I don't know, man. Like eventually, Jinder's gonna have to lose, and I feel it's gonna be at Royal Rumble, and maybe have Shinsuke win it. Shinsuke win the Royal Rumble and go on to face AJ at WrestleMania, or the other way around. Shinsuke ends up winning it at Royal Rumble, and AJ wins the actual Rumble itself and faces. Somehow I think those two are gonna fight at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think, and one of them will be champion. I think. So, I don't mind seeing Jinder Mahal champion until then and forever, but that's not gonna happen, as we know. The next match was the Women's SmackDown Championship match featuring the champion Natalya defending against Charlotte Flair. So it was the Hart Dynasty versus the Flair Dynasty. I'm just reading the chat right now. We have Tom Zambino in here. Hey Tom, what's going on? He agrees that Jinder is going to hold it for a while because that big India tour is coming. Let's go! AfterMat heading to India to watch the tour. Cheer Jinder Mahal. Maybe we'll see the Punjabi Playboy, the Great Khali. And Joe and I can get matching shirts for the Great Khali. Joe and I will be the new Singh brothers. So we had the Women's Championship match. And there's Natalya, using her textbook offense to work over Charlotte's injured knee and to soften her up for the sharpshooter. Charlotte kept enduring and fighting back on numerous occasions, but her battered knee is what stopped her from gaining momentum. She also missed a moonsault that was turned into a devastating powerbomb by Natalya. Somehow the action careened to the outside. Flair went knee first into the ring steps, but still and had enough energy to get back onto the top, do her patented moonsault out to the outside, hit Natalya with it, but that kind of like phased Natalya. Had enough energy to get back up, grab a chair, and bang Charlotte's knee, the injured knee. Just go to work on her injured knee. So this thing's gonna continue. It's gonna go into Survivor Series. Maybe they'll make teams where like if Charlotte's team wins, she wins the championship, or she gets a shot or something. Maybe something stupid like that. But I think it's definitely gonna carry into Survivor Series. But yeah, so Charlotte is the winner by DQ, but Natalya retains the title. So. What'd you think?
I can't really place my finger on like what it was, but this match I just didn't care. I don't really care about Natty right now. I mean, I want to, but I just don't. And then Charlotte, I don't know if I like face Charlotte. I think she works better as a heel. She might have Randy Orton syndrome. I don't know. But I don't know. This match just didn't do it for me. I mean, they had some pretty solid moments, but nothing like too memorable. Like I'm probably gonna forget about this match later on in the week. So I don't know, and I don't know if Charlotte was actually really hurt or not, or if it was just all for the storyline. So I don't know how that's gonna go. We'll find out on tomorrow. But again, like I said, I don't really care. I didn't really care.
Yeah. So what's so weird is I always say when they put too many women in the match. It messes up the match because they could give them too much to do, and the writers always drop the ball. This time we had two superior athletes, technical wrestlers, and it just wasn't a good match. So everything just flipped the script from the last pay-per-view to this pay-per-view. Like, last was great. I enjoyed it so much. This time, it's just not as good. And
I would like them to stop having Natty Harbor on that whole being part of the Hart family. I mean, I know it's her family. Yeah. It's like for her in particular, they harp her on it so much. I mean, it seemed like even though Charlotte kind of the same thing, but she still seems like her own person. Whereas Natty seems lost in the Hart family. If like maybe she was able to be more of herself and give her sort of a defining characteristic, then I could be on board. But I'm just tired of hearing the old Brett spiel that she does the whole time about the Hearts, and so I don't know, maybe that's what it is why I'm not on board, because I don't feel like she has her own personality.
And Tom in the chat actually agrees with that, like what we're saying. He says like he thinks Natalya's boring. I don't think that she's boring. I just don't think they've written her well. She's a great athlete. She's a great wrestler. It's just I don't think they've written her story well. And he does agree that Charlotte is a weak face. Like you said, she makes a better heel. I just hate seeing her win all the time. Like, she's like never really lost. She's like lost once in a singles match on a pay-per-view, right? Everything else, the only other time she lost were like a fatal 5-way or 6-way or whatever it was. She's only lost once in like a singles match, I think it was. And that was to Bayley or something, right? So I really think it should have been Asuka that beat her the first time, like, cleanly. But we're gonna see Asuka soon. It's a different. I know Charlotte moved to a different brand, but like I was saying prior, I was like, I think it should have been Asuka that beats her. Won the streak of whatever it is, not losing at a thing. The next match was for the WWE Championship, featuring the modern day Maharaja Jinder Mahal against Shinsuke Nakamura again. Man, like Jinder Mahal showed his physical prowess. He used it to counter a lot of the unorthodox offense of the King of Strong Style, which is Shinsuke Nakamura. He didn't have an answer for every one of Shinsuke's attacks that he launched, but eventually, he finally had to succumb to the attacks, that the barrage of knees and all these other strikes. This prompted, I think the Singh brothers noticed some like dirt or something. The ring was wet inside, so they had to get up on the apron to let the referee know that the ring was wet, and this caused the referee to not pay attention to the match, and then that gave some time for Jinder Mahal to recuperate and get back into the match again. And then once they saw the referee knew about the wet ring, they got off the thing. No harm, no foul. And then a little later, they might have gotten involved again because they saw some the ring was like the ropes were like a little loose. So they got up on the apron to say that, oh, hey, the ropes are loose. And this time the referee kicked them away from ringside. This was after, right when this is happening, Shinsuke hits Jinder Mahal with a Kinshasa. And when that happened, I think one of the Singh brothers saw like Shinsuke's mouthpiece fly out or something. I don't know what it was. Or maybe he saw somebody in the crowd with a laser pointer. So, they had to let the referee know, hey, something's going on. Don't worry about what's going on in the match. Let me know. Here, watch this. And this gave enough time for Jinder Mahal to recover again and kick out of the pin by grabbing the rope. And then Nakamura went for another Kinshasa, but I think Jinder Mahal sidestep, which caused Nakamura to run into the turnbuckle, fall back into a Kalas, and get a pin by Jinder Mahal to win and retain the championship. So it's completely clean. No interference by the Singh brothers. They were just looking out for the good nature of the WWE universe, as well as the ring and all that kind of stuff. So it's complete clean victory. I'm being completely sarcastic here. But in my eyes, great victory for Jinder Mahal. Completely clean. And it was awesome. And hopefully it sends a feud. I mean, I said I want to see Shinsuke Nakamura as a champion, but this is too soon. Like I said, I think he should work his way up just like Baron Corbin, take the middle card route. But I think it's what I said is going to happen. Like, he's either going to win the Rumble and face AJ for the championship at WrestleMania, or the other way around, where he'll win the title at Royal Rumble and AJ will win the Rumble and they'll face each other. That's what I think. I don't see this feud ending. I don't see who's next in line besides AJ Styles for the title. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's along the same line. Like, it was a pretty good match. Excuse me. I only have one note on it, and I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that? That's the only note that I have.
Yes.
Because I was glad that I love it when they let Jinder wrestle. I wasn't happy with how they were writing him these last couple of weeks on SmackDown with his promos between him and Shinsuke, because they were getting hilly racist over there.
Yeah.
Not subtly racist, like racist. But I'm glad that he was able to get in and wrestle and not have to worry about the things or people questioning the things and always getting involved. So I was really glad to see him wrestle. And Shinsuke is going to do what Shinsuke does in Shinsuke world. And same with you. I don't really know who's next in line for this. For all we know, there'll be someone different to go after come Tuesday. Who knows? If not, it'll probably just still be Shinsuke and Jinder. Probably even be a Team Shinsuke or a Team Jinder for Survivor Series or something like that.
Right, because we need to have the Singh brothers involved eventually, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know who they could get for Jinder. Not Jinder, sorry, Shinsuke. But I guess we'll see. Maybe we can have an all foreign team with Jinder, Rusev, the Singh brothers. I don't know if they can do a 4-man Survivor Series or a 5-man Survivor Series. We don't know. It's gonna be combined too, so who knows? Maybe they could just throw in Sheamus and Cesaro or something. Who knows? But it's curious. I'd like to, is our fact checker available to see what his thoughts are on what's gonna happen with the title reign after this? Is Joe available?
No.
I've heard some rumors suggest that Jinder's gonna hold on to the belt until WrestleMania.
Were those rumors spread by Cal?
Yeah, it's for me. For me and me only.
There's one other name that's been tossed around as to eventually pulling the championship away and breaking Ric Flair's supposed record.
No, that's John Cena.
Yeah.
Who you say?
John Cena.
Oh my God. If John Cena comes back and beats Jinder Mahal for the championship, I'm quitting wrestling.
And feed him to John Cena.
Yeah, because he said, how they build up these heels and then feed him to John Cena.
Ugh.
We'll just have to keep watching and see how they take this.
Tom and Z in the chat has great insight on this actually too. Well, the first part is complete tomfoolery. I'm going to call it tomfoolery and tagline it that, because he says that the Jinder title reign is just like the Seth Rollins title reign where he couldn't win without help, but Jinder doesn't have talent. That's complete tomfoolery. So I'm throwing that statement out because I haven't seen Jinder get help at all. I think things just happen to happen, and he takes advantage of what happens to happen. So that statement's gone from Tom. But he does say a Nakamura Jinder rematch, but this time banning the Singhs from ringside. We kind of really just recently saw that with the Punjabi prison match, but they still ended up coming to the ring, right? And then we also had the Great Khali. So if it's not the Singhs, it's going to be the Great Khali, or maybe even me. We don't know. Or maybe we'll see the old school Tiger Ali Singh, if you guys remember that wrestler from back in the day. That would be a cool return to have. even though he's probably way too old to do anything. But who knows? Back in the day, those managers, they just used to hit people with a cane or something and just give that extra step for the heel to win. So that could happen as well. But the cool thing he said about this now, Tom said in the chat, was that maybe Drew McIntyre comes to SmackDown, and it's like a 3MB reunion kind of thing, but they're fighting each other for the championship. So that's really interesting to see as well. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I think did he just lose? I don't know what's happening in NXT.
No, he still has the title.
Okay, still but he's feuding with Adam Cole, right? So that's what's happening.
Yeah. There's next opponent will be Glorious.
Oh yeah, the Glorious Bobby, but that's too fast too, man. Come on. Like that he is deserving of the title shot, but I think it's too soon too. I feel like people like AJ deserve it before him, and like already Shinsuke got it, but I feel like AJ deserves it before him. And I can't name anybody else because I don't know who else is like fighting. Dolph Ziggler, even though Dolph Ziggler's in limbo. God, even Orton before Rude, but like I don't want to see Orton again.
I'd rather see Rude over Orton.
Kevin Owens. I don't know. I think I'm not sure if at this point it happened or not, but we had the return of the Fashion Police, and I know that's like one of your favorite segments, so I'll let you take that over. Do you remember what happened? I don't know if it was at that point or not.
I don't know if it was at the point or not, but they were doing their.
I think it was before this match.
Well, at some point we got a return to the fashion files, and then they were closing up their case of 2B, and apparently it was Ascension trying to gain some friendship. I can't really describe the whole skit on account of it was very Twin Peaks related. So
sort of, but not really. They were fading out of it slowly.
Probably my favorite part was a picture of Cesaro in the background saying 233. That was my favorite part.
and they also showed they're plug like they were promoting the next thing that's gonna be the Pulp Fiction version of the Fashion Police. So that should be fun to see.
Yeah, it seems like they're really having fun with that. But I would like to see them do some in-ring stuff just to keep it going. Or at least interacting with the other wrestlers or something like that. Like they did like they kind of crashed 205 Live a couple weeks back and gave Drew Gulak a makeover because, they're the Fashion Police. So it'd be kind of cool to see them do stuff like that on the actual roster and not just in skit form.
It's, I feel like they're talented, but they're like the Edge and Christian right now. It's just not as talented as Edge and Christian. Like, Edge and Christian had much more charisma, but they're kind of like that goofy characters that did like little skits in the back. Like kind of like Booker T and Goldust when they did the movie at the movies with Booker T and Goldust. Those are awesome. That's what I feel. That's how I feel.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So the next match was a buffer match between like the title match as well as the final thing, but it was probably the best. Not the best, because remember that other match that we had, like, I think the cruiserweight match was like Neville versus somebody. I can't remember a few pay-per-view ago. That was probably the best buffer match we've ever had. On paper, though, this was probably the best on paper buffer match. Seeing Bobby Roode's name go against Dolph Ziggler, because we both forgot about this match. I think you said even Joe forgot about this match.
Yeah,
but the fact that this was a buffer match, like on paper, like Ziggler and Rude, oh my God, I was so excited. And then the match happened. And it was good, like, back and forth action. It wasn't that bad. But then Ziggler used more of his, like, technical prowess, but he just showed off too much. And I think Ziggler landed a famouser, but he just took forever to tune up the band, and Rude countered with a spine buster. And this led to a series of roll-ups, which Rude won. Ziggler started with a grabbing the tights, but Rude countered it with his own grab of the tights, and he won the match. So he kind of didn't win cleanly, unlike Jinder Mahal. But it was probably I could see a rematch, and these guys having a legit match, probably at Survivor Series. That would be cool to see.
Yeah. It just seemed like just the start of a feud for them too. I did like Rude beating him at his own game by grabbing the tights. That's a very Rude thing to do.
Yeah.
I did like how Ziggler, he started out with his theme music. At first I was like, really? You're just gonna, after all that, we're gonna go back to your normal theme music? But I like how he cut it off and just came off like nothing. And I really thought that was pretty good because I actually was starting to get tired of him impersonating other wrestlers. I mean, them doing it in the moment was fun, but I'm like, okay, where is this going? But I did like the tone switch of him being like really serious and trying to just be Ziggler. So I am back on track and being curious about Dolph Ziggler again because before I was like, what are we doing with this guy? I mean, I know he's talented, but they hadn't shown that in the last couple of months or so. So I'm now back on board, getting excited to see what him and Rude can do.
I kind of hope that, you know how like he's cutting off his music and just coming out and being all serious, all business kind of thing. I kind of hope that he uses it to kind of break the fourth wall, like kind of like CM Punk did, and say this is what I'm fed up with, and like I deserve to be like, and like kind of win over the audience like CM Punk did, because he had that following. Like when he was like holding the Money in the Bank and going for that was it that WCW title, but I forgot what it was called, like the World Heavyweight Championship it was called, I think. Mm-hmm. He had that following. You know, I remember being at that WrestleMania and hoping that he would cash in against I think it was a Jack Swagger Alberto Del Rio match. I was hoping he'd cash in, but he cashed in the next night on Raw. That's when Big E Langston was in his corner and stuff like that, I think. That's like, I wanted to get that following because he had that following. I feel like I can get it back if he broke that fourth wall and kind of pulled like a CM Punk thing. That would be really cool to see, I think. And
I think, yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool too. I mean, I think it's like people like know that he's talented, but again, I feel like they're just not liking the way he's being portrayed, and he just got kind of like falling by the wayside. So I think this can be sort of a resurgence for him, but let's see how it goes.
Yeah, it's like we said, like the writing is ruining a lot of the stuff too. It's not the wrestlers' fault always. The writing, like, you know, the women's matches happened for a few of the women's matches that I said back a few years ago, be it a Raw or SmackDown brand. The writing has let us down, which I see that with Ziggler. Tom in the chat says that sweet chin music for Ziggler would be really cool, but it's too much because a lot of people kick out of his super kick already. So what does sweet chin music do? I guess maybe because he's tuning up the band, so it makes it stronger because he's powering up his leg or something. I don't know. He did enjoy the cutoff music as well, but it's because he doesn't like the theme song. I think Ziggler's original theme song is pretty cool. Kind of pumps you up when you hear like, I'm here to save the world, I'm here to save the world, or whatever it is, and then goes like, come on, like, and then he comes out. That's pretty cool. But I really do hope, like, if he keeps that no theme music thing, like, he really does break the fourth wall, he grabs it and drops a pipe bomb. Not to the level of CM Punk, but enough that's part of the character where he's like playing to the audience and saying, I'm better than this, you guys know I'm better than this, they're screwing me over, and I'm sick of this, and I'm walking away or whatever kind of thing, and throws the mic down. And
they could take elements of that attitude and give it to Dolph because he could make that work. Because he was that cocky, arrogant SOB type of character before, but he was more in that, you know, Shawn Michael-esque type of cockiness, and then now he's more that jaded cockiness. I feel like he could do well with that and make it his own if they give him the chance to do it.
Yeah, I do. I think that's the direction they should go with him. And he should maybe screw over somebody. That way he can get the title. Somehow like get involved with like maybe a Ziggler, with an AJ Styles match or a Shinsuke Nakamura match, which will start a mini feud with him until Shinsuke and AJ Styles can go at it at Royal Rumble. At WrestleMania. So like what they could do is in between, he feuds with one of those two, whoever's not in the Rumble, whoever's in the Rumble, and then that person eliminates Ziggler from the Rumble and goes on to win the Rumble. But then like Ziggler at the next pay-per-view in between WrestleMania and Rumble, Ziggler challenges saying, "Hey, I'll fight you for your Royal Rumble win. Like if I beat you, I get the title shot at WrestleMania." And maybe that's a good feud until that, but then we'll eventually see Nakamura versus AJ. You know, whoever, like, you know, I said one will win the actual championship at Royal Rumble, the other one will win the Royal Rumble, which will end up having them fight. Something like that. We'll see. I feel like Ziggler can be thrown into that equation just as a buffer between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. A good feud. Because he's a good tune-up because he's athletic, he's good on the mic, and that's what we could see for that tune-up for that WrestleMania feud.
Agreed.
The final match was the second Hell in a Cell match where we saw it was kind of like a grudge match where falls count anywhere. Kevin Owens against Shane McMahon. As you know, there's a lot of build up with Shane putting his hands on Owens, Owens flipping out, saying, the boss should never do this. Then Vince McMahon comes out and apologizes and says, if a McMahon touches you, provokes you anyway, you can knock him out. And I guess that was like a provocation. And Owens leveled Vince McMahon. This caused Shane to get mad. We already having the match, but this is, I guess, more fuel to the fire. Kevin Owens was basically insulting, adding insult to injury the entire beginning of the match as he was leveling Shane. He was rubbing his face on the cage and saying to his kids, to Shane's family, I should be your role model, not your father. Shane O'Mac came back with his patented attack with using his punches and stuff and using KO as a punching bag, like a speed bag. KO then went for a cannonball, but he missed and it went through the table, and Shane almost got the pin, but he didn't. Shane used the table as a weapon. Eventually, part of the table as a weapon, and then he did the coast-to-coast attack with the trash can on Owens, and he landed it. Then I think that's when Shane climbed out, right? I think Shane climbed out, and Owens followed him out to the top. There was a lot of heart-wrenching action on the top. We had the pop-up powerbomb by Kevin Owens, just almost put Shane through the top. Shane kicks out. Owens begins his descend, and then that's when Shane throws him off the cage through one of the tables. Shane wanted to finish the job by putting Kevin Owens on the other table and getting to the top and doing his patented, I said he's going to do that one thing where he's going to jump off the top and break the table, and he's going to miss, but we didn't expect the way he was going to miss the way he did, because when Shane jumped to the top and he jumped off, we saw someone pull Owens off the table, sending Shane through the table, and then we found out that person who pulled him off was Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn saved Kevin Owens. And then Sami Zayn rolled Kevin Owens onto Shane, and it was false count anywhere while Shane's on a little stretcher ready to go out. And 1, 2, 3, Kevin Owens is your winner with the 8 of Sami Zayn. I don't understand what happened. I think it was a great match. There's a lot of great spots. As we knew we were gonna have great spots when we have Shane O'Mac in any type of match with those big falls and stuff. We knew they were gonna have that. But why Sami Zayn?
I think, if they were smart, they could spin it this way. A couple weeks back, might have even been last week, I'm not sure. Owens got in his face saying, "You were here for so long," and basically what we've all been saying, Sami nothing but a jobber. So I guess you could say that kind of that could spark a fire underneath Sami. I don't know, to attack the Owens to get himself in that main event type picture. So they could do it sort of that way. That's the one of the things that I can think of that makes sense. I will say when that happened, I was like, oh, that was something that I wasn't expecting. I am intrigued. I want to learn more about this. And I think that's always a good thing in a WWE match, that there's something that you didn't expect. That sometimes they still can surprise us. I thought there were some really good spots in the match. I think we were saying the same thing. We think it went a little too long. I mean, we spent 3 minutes with Shane trying to open the door, but,
oh God.
But I know.
I was like, I hope he doesn't ask a referee to help him do this, because the referees are the ones who usually do it,
Yeah, that was. It was funny, but it's come on, just that kind of slowed down the momentum. But yeah, and of course we all know Shane's always gotta take that one big jump spot, and I don't know, but that one looked bad because the way he landed, it looked like he jarred his spine, which is probably why
too. I think.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't go flush through it. I think he hit it and rolled off kind of, so it wasn't a flush.
He didn't land. It looked like he landed sitting up. That's why I was it looked like he jarred his spine, which is why they would put the neck brace on him. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, little snaps. Shane. I mean, for anyone to hit from that angle, from that height, is terrifying. But Shane, he's not the youngest of the people on the roster, so that's always a concerning thing. So I kind of hope he's all right.
Tom is actually in the chat saying he really digs the Sami Zayn turn. Maybe that will actually amount to something he's hoping. I kind of see this maybe as a bodyguard kind of thing, when Shawn Michaels got Diesel. I know Sami Zayn's not a formidable bodyguard, but just someone that will have his back, not like a bodyguard, but someone who has his back and help him interfere in matches.
Yeah.
Completely unlike the Singh brothers, who don't help Jinder Mahal at all. You'll have someone like Sami Zayn help Kevin Owens, and then eventually we'll have that turn, something like that, where he turns back. He goes, you promised me a title shot when I helped you get it. Now I should be the first one to get a title shot or something like that. I know I'm kind of getting sick of the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens thing, but they always do put on a great match. But I kind of don't want to see it anymore. But what else can we do?
Yeah, I know you don't watch Show Live, but it kind of that surprise factor kind of reminded me of when Jack Gallagher turned heel to help out.
The Brian Kendrick.
He did Perkins?
Yeah, Brian to help out Brian Kendrick. So it was kind of like that surprise factor of someone turning heel that you didn't quite expect to, and it actually made their. I mean, Jack Gallagher was still like over with the fans and stuff at that time, but it was a nice surprise. Like, oh well, I wonder what they're gonna do with this. So I like that factor of it. Because Sami, like, he has the talent to do it, but they just haven't written him to do much of anything. So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I really think it might be like a bodyguard or like I got your back angle, and that would be cool to see. And then eventually it turns. What Tom is saying is like he's wondering what the end game is for KO because usually when you beat a McMahon, it's into the main event feud, but there's no room for KO with all the heel champs. So yeah, that'll be interesting. I don't know. Good question.
Yeah.
We don't know what's like. We're really up. Like usually I have like a set path of what's gonna happen. I'll say like, okay, I can see this happening, or I'll just say this person needs time off. I would say that too. But like here, I really don't know what's gonna happen with the way all these storylines ended, or not even ended, how the night ended for each match. Mm-hmm. I really don't know. Besides the one thing I said about I'm pretty sure about that Royal Rumble carrying into WrestleMania with the Shinsuke and AJ Styles. I'm pretty certain about that. Other than that, I have no idea where anything is gonna go. Maybe Orton fights Orton. Wait, oh my god. I can see that happening. His ego is so big that he can fight himself. Orton fights KO. Maybe that's the next line for that. For the number one title, for number one contendership, maybe.
Or I could see after the AJ and Corbin, I could see Owens going after Corbin because Shane looks like he's dead. So I can see him trying to go back after that title again. Or even just injecting himself into the main event. He's bold enough to do it. So he can go either way. Deserving of either path.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is the first time I'm really up in the air with everything that happened. I really don't know. And plus I don't watch like SmackDown enough to know that how things carry over and stuff like that. I can't even tell you who's in the women's division besides Charlotte, Natalya, Naomi, and Becky Lynch. So I can't even maybe Tamina's over there. Oh wait, and we never saw Carmella. Isn't Carmella like the freaking SmackDown Women's?
Oh yeah,
Money in the Bank. She didn't even appear right on backstage or anything. So that was weird.
Hey,
I feel like if Charlotte does beat Natalya, Natalya's gonna flip out on her, hit her with a chair and all that at the end of a match, and that's when Carmella will come in and cash in and actually win the championship. That's what I say. That's one thing I do see. If Charlotte does end up beating her, Natalya's gonna flip out, and then maybe Carmella will use Natalya as like a bodyguard as well. Like I've seen this bodyguard angle a lot.
And get rid of Ellsworth.
Yeah, and get rid of Ellsworth. Yeah, exactly. So before we wrap up to talk about our thoughts, is that Joe have anything to say about the main event or anything about Sami Zayn and what's going on with Sami Zayn?
Yeah, I would say definitely the main event definitely delivered in terms of everything because we expected all the high spots and everything, especially which that Shane O'Mac is known for. One thing I saw as I was scrolling Facebook today, one of those ads, one of those things that came up said that apparently showed some fan photos from people who were at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, and it showed right where Shane was about to jump off the cage and hit that high spot near the end of the match, and you could actually see from where the television cameras weren't showing you could see the medical personnel already there, ready to come in and help Shane, and then you could also see Sami Zayn sneaking in first, and he had his hood up at first, and he was sneaking in, and then eventually the hood came down, and he revealed it, and you could see it was Sami Zayn, and I have to say Sami Zayn looked completely different than he has before, in terms of facial expressions and everything. It's a whole different demeanor. So this is definitely a bit of an unexpected swerve. But also, I feel like this could be like maybe this is something whereas Sami Zayn is going to come on tomorrow and basically tell Kevin Owens, I did what I did because I was trying to save you from you, because he basically wanted to ensure that Kevin got the win, but that at the same time his ego didn't go too sky high. And then at the same time, I feel like it's eventually going to be like in the long term, you're going to eventually have Sami turn back into the baby face because supposedly he's supposed to have a similar like angle as the Daniel Bryan movement, where he'll eventually get the championship and be on top as the underdog. As far as where KO is headed, I've seen Triple H's name bantered about as to a few possibilities as to how he could factor in.
Was he just going to go up against all the McMahons? Well, I guess technically. Anyway, sorry.
One angle could be that Triple H comes back and basically confronts Kevin Owens and says that I'm a McMahon too, and then eventually that's gonna lead to a match between the two of them. Another angle could be where Triple H comes back and starts helping KO again, and then he ends up going against Shane O'Mac at WrestleMania. And the third one, which I think would be the best, is that Triple H comes back soon, aligns himself with KO, and then he's part of Team KO at Survivor Series, going against Team Shane. And then maybe at Royal Rumble, it's Triple H versus Shane, but then at WrestleMania, it's Triple H versus Kevin Owens.
Oh,
That's a lot of flowing happening. Like, I guess I still
I don't know. I mean, I do think Triple H is due back on screen. I mean, I think
isn't Triple H on Raw though, or is that me?
No.
He would. Apparently, the rumors I heard is that Triple H would, when he does come back onto television, he's going to be on SmackDown Live, so that would kind of fit into the story.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I mean, I think the only time I saw him was handing out the trophies at the Mae Young Classic. But then again, those were taped. I mean, not anyway. Yeah, he's due back. That's what I'm trying to get at.
I definitely see Joe being right about that. Then if I had no idea Triple H was even on SmackDown, but I could definitely see him. He's the next step up in McMahon's, I guess. And then you got to fight Vince McMahon, the patriarch, and he's got that stride and swagger. So I guess that was it for that rest of the match. I guess we can start with Joe first. Low point, high point, and then overall grade for the pay-per-view.
I would say the high point is probably the main event, because it's what you were waiting for the whole time, and the main event delivered. As far as a low point, I would say the women's match, because I wasn't exactly happy at how it ended with a disqualification with a chair shot. And you would think that maybe a chair shot would mean that they're going to have a chairs match, but then you realize that Raw has TLC this year, so that's not going to be the case, at least not for a pay-per-view match.
And your overall grade?
So I would say overall, I would go the Daniel Bryan route and give it a B+.
Go ahead, Alicia. What do you think?
Oh, low point for me, I don't know. I'm giving it to both the women's match and then the Roode and Dolph Ziggler match, because both of those matches I just didn't care for. I mean, again, build-up wasn't great. I mean, there was hardly much build-up for Dolph Ziggler, but you know what? Think about it. I will give it to the more women's match, because I was like, this could have been something more. On, like you said, get on paper. They're two superior athletes and technical wrestlers, and they had a phenomenal match back in NXT, and I don't see why they couldn't. Sorry. They had a greatly superior match worthy of their last name. So I don't know why they couldn't do it on this. Maybe what show they're on was telling. High point for me is going to be that New Day Usos match, because One, the build up behind that was great. Probably one of the better promos they've been doing for any of the storylines for a long time. And I was really engaged in that match from start to finish. And then, so my overall grade, I'm probably going to go with a C. Like I said, besides the 2 Hell in a Cell matches, the other matches, the sandwich matches in between, I didn't really care for. And I was glad the gender one, but again, I wasn't happy with the build-up to that match as well. So it was all right. If it wasn't for those 2 Hell in a Cell matches, this probably would have been not a great pay-per-view.
I completely agree with both of you. For me, like, it was also the women's match because I expected so much more from those 2 extremely talented women. Once again, I don't blame them. It could be the writing, maybe something, I don't know what it was. But you've heard me say that so much. I was so grateful last pay-per-view with that fatal 5-way or whatever it was. That was an awesome match. Like, that was great. That's finally had it. But yeah, my low points were probably the women's match because what happened, and then there was also another tie between the Randy Orton match because I just didn't care, and the Dolph Ziggler the Belfort match because I expected so much also from that. But I can't be disappointed because I didn't get to see the glorious entrance, which I love, and I love that. So I'm not gonna give to that. I'm just probably gonna say between Orton and the women's match. For the high point, I'm gonna just agree with you guys the same. Both the Hell Cells made the pay-per-view. It was a namesake of the pay-per-view, and it made the pay-per-view. Both of them. So I got to go with that. My grade was probably like a C+, B-. I was happy. Like, those 2 matches did deliver. And I did, of course, gender one, so that boosts up my grade always. But then the rest of the matches kind of took away from all that. So that's why it's like kind of in the middle, but a little higher towards the middle with the C+, B-. I guess we can go into our plugs, but I want to first thank Tom for joining us. He's one of our dedicated viewers. He's always in our chat and chiming in. So I want to thank him for being here. And I want to mention that he has hit. What?
I was saying thank you, Tom Z.
So Tom Z is in our chat. As you know, he does his own show called Cars and Popcorn. It airs every other Sunday, I think it is. Usually around 3 p.m. Eastern. Last pay-per-view, last event, the last episode was with Nolan Dean. And they talked about Ryan Gosling movie Drive. So if you like cars and you like movies, definitely check out that show. He has the Zed Reviews channel on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure his Twitter handle's at RoadRaider3 on Twitter. So check him out there, follow him, and subscribe to his channel because he puts out great content, especially if you love cars. Just try to avoid that trivia, man. I mean, like, I could probably ask wrestling trivia that's easier than what he would ask you for the I give him crap for it all the time, but when I see those questions come out, I actually did answer one correctly. I would have to say, like, I don't want to give away what happened in the episode, but he said name a French thing that makes some car in the Blade Runner movie. And I could only think of one French company, and it wasn't Toyota because one of the people answered Toyota, which is definitely a Japanese car. I even know that. So yeah, I actually answered that question right. So that was pretty cool. But then when it comes to like how many types of engines this have, I have no idea. But it's a great show.
The one that counts, I don't know.
So it's a great show. It's really fun. The trivia is fun. It's challenging, but it's fun to watch people squirm when he does it. A lot of great insight on cars and movies. So please check it out. Delisha, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Delisha_Renee. And then you can look towards this weekend, hopefully, for a new article for Odd Shape Panel, talking about a very trendy topic this month. But that's the only tease you'll get. And then you can also find me calling into the other shows on the Odd Shape channel as far as Odd Shape Panel change on Mondays. And then watching their other shows like Encrypted, which I'm pretty sure you'll talk about. And other shows coming out during the week. So you can find me all over social media.
What about Joe? Joe, where can we find you? I know there's one spot we can find you, besides on the couch. Where can we find Joe?
Find him on Facebook at Joseph Butler. I don't know if he'll add you because he doesn't know you. but
he's always ready to talk wrestling. So yeah. And he always has great insight on wrestling. Yeah, so Tom always has something funny to say in the chat. He says I think Tom Zambino has become our official Brock correspondent, so he'll probably call in next pay-per-view, which we'll get to after I plug my stuff. You can find me at Deja Vu on Twitter. Of course, on this channel, the Kingslayer channel on YouTube. Like Delisha said, I do the this show obviously with Delisha after every pay-per-view, and then I also have the Encrypted show currently running on the Odd Shape channel where we talk about cryptids. This week's cryptid of the week is the Jinn, and next week is the Chupacabra. And we're adding a new feature to next week's episode, so I can't wait to show that off. Some of you guys already know what it is from the chat. If you're a part of our chat, you know what it is. But other than that, you'll be surprised. It's cool to see. I can't wait to see it. But yeah, go to my Twitter and vote on the poll for what you'd like to see added to the Wheel of Weird that we spin at the end of every Encrypted episode to see what we are going to investigate in the coming weeks. So check us out there. And the next time you'll see Delisha and I is for the Tables, Ladders, and Chairs pay-per-view, the Raw brand pay-per-view, which I think is on October 22nd. Is that correct, Delisha?
Yeah.
I think it's October 22nd. And we'll be on October 23rd, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern, to break down Tables, Ladders, and Chairs for you, the Raw pay-per-view. Until then, this is the People's Champ, Cal, and my tag team partner, the Glam is on Delisha.
Till TLC.
And our fact checker, Joe, who's somewhere in the back. And thanks for everyone who joined us tonight, and we'll see you next time. Later, guys.